You're back from the toilet. Good. Have a seat. Have a seat. All right, class. Get out your brandy brand new notebooks. Put your name on them. Put your name at the top of your new notebooks. Do all your joined up writing. Ewan Mc Fla for Guardian. And put the subject in on the next subject on the next line. My handwriting now is about as good as it was back when I actually did these things. And put the date, just the year, because, you know. And do you remember when you'd write the year? You'd have to do that on the pages. You'd go, right, this is today's date, and it's 2023. And is it? What's it currently? 2022. It's going to be. And you go 2021. Oh no, it's not 21 anymore. It's 22. Oh god. So you'd go 2021. You go, oh no, make that a 2, and you'd try and make it a 2, and then it would look silly. So you'd be like this, and you go, right, 2022 to 2023. Cool. Now we've got our new books. Do you remember? That's a song. Do you remember a time when love was love? It's Deltron 0 and Automator, the 3030, but like the second 3032. I think. And then what we'd do, because we were cool happening skate kids, is we would, I'm looking at logos, I can't find, we cover them in skate logos. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to decorate our new exercise book with skate logos. I'm trying to find, I've got a whole bunch up on my screen. I can't find the one particular one I want to start with, which is an obvious one, and I don't know why. Oh, there it is. You go, because that's, I don't know, it was the thing. You get your new book, and then you draw all the you know, because we was little skate kids. That's all we did. That's all we cared about was skateboarding. We'd literally, all we'd talk about in like maybe years like 9 and 10, maybe with mostly, maybe 8 to 9, and then a bit of year 10. All we'd talk about is skateboarding, to the point where there'd be like shitty girls on the other side of the room would yell over, be like, "Is that all you talk about? Do you just talk about fucking skateboarding all the time? Don't you talk about anything else?" And then we'd say, "Shut up, cunts! I'll fucking cut your neck open. I'll bleed you dry on the carpet right here in class. I don't give a shit, you fucking piece of shit. Female, you girl. What are you talking about? All fucking drama and NSYNC and fucking who's dating who. Oh my god, did you hear fucking Sandra gave Simon a blowjob? Oh, I can't believe it. They're only 15 years old and they're already putting each other's genitals in their mouth. Fucking shut up." Is that all you do? Talk about the things that you're all interested in? I can't believe that's all you fucking talk about, the things that you're all collectively interested in together. Well, don't you have any other interests that you want to talk about? No! You fucking goddamn whore. Gemma. Fuck yourself. Piece of shit. Last I saw of her, she was working in a shop, and then the shop closed down. I can only assume it closed down because she was working in it. Because she was a stupid bitch. Etnies. Do you remember Etnies? I used to really love Etnies. And when I worked in a shoe store, you know, the famous Ewan working in a shoe store arc of my story, one of the first pair of shoes I bought with my I work in a shoe store money was a pair of Etnies. And I was like, oh yeah, Etnies. Remember Etnies? I haven't had any in so long. And they were like really uncomfortable. And I never bought any more ever again. DCs were usually the way to go. I've got a pair of DCs still left over from... Well, all the shoes I have currently are shoes that were bought during my time at the shoe store. I've got a pair of DCs, some Vans, and some other shit. Nike SBs. I've got a few Nike SBs. They're pretty good. Etnies, yeah. I'm doing my best not to like really make this too like neat and tidy and fancy, because that's not how we did it. Mine were obviously always the best drawn logos on my exercise books, because that's, you know, obviously, duh, Ewan's the guy. He's the drawing guy. So I'm trying to draw them all in like, see, because now I'm going to draw the Spitfire logo. And my natural inclination is to use lighter lines to get the base of it and then go in heavier. But that's not how we did it. You just drew the thing. You didn't care if it was like really accurate or not. You just fucking drew it. So even if it's not the most accurate, it's like, it's still good. It's, as long as you can tell what it is, innit? I love skate logos. They're all great. Well, some of them are good. Some of them are just like a logo. The Etnies one's quite cool. You know, it's like a shape and it's got the arrow and the thing. And the Spitfire one's cool as well because it's like a little demon face. So that's cool. We love little demon faces. It's got thicker eyebrows than that. There's like World Industries was a big one because there's, was it Flame Boy and Wet Willy? Were that the names of the little characters, the little World Industries characters? And then Blind Skateboards was always good because they had the little Reaper guy, the little cool Reaper. He was fun to draw all the time. Tech Deck was a good one, which, you know, not really a skateboard brand as such, but very much related to that. So the little like Tech Deck thumb on a skateboard and the Tech Deck logo would always get drawn a lot. You know, cool kids stuff. All the cool kids drew. DC logo is pretty neat, pretty solid logo. At the moment, I've only got the Spitfire one up. There's a whole fucking page of them, and then I've got to give it a thicker outline. What other good ones are there? Oh, those are some of the best ones, I guess. Toy Machine. Toy Machine was always good. There's the Toy Machine like devil thing with the horns. And then there's obviously the Toy Machine fists. Those were classic. The weird like orange monster thing, the Ed Templeton drawings. You know, the weird like Cyclops orange alien toy machine. You know the one. That one. I'm looking at just a whole bunch of skate logos at the moment. Him, that's not even a skate logo. Like the heartogram, the star, that's a heart. That's not even a skateboard logo. But then Bam Margera made it like famous. It's a band, isn't it? I think I listened to one of their songs and was like, whatevs, not my kind of garbage. Spitfire, Etnies. Skateboarding, yo. Fucking get in. S was all right, but it like not much of a logo. It's just sort of whatever, isn't it? Flip, that was a good one. I love that text, that like old gothic sort of text they had. Flip. Let's do it this way. Let's put flip here. Flip. I won't be doing this for the whole episode. Don't worry, your precious little bonts about it. This isn't going to be the entirety of the episode. Or is it? No, it won't be. Well, it might. But it probably won't. But it might be. But I don't know anyway. I had my first pro deck that I got. Because, you know, you start off skateboarding, you get whatever cheap shit you can find. My first actual skateboard was a second-hand one. It was a piece of shit. It was torn to shreds. It was so short because it was like had basically been sanded away on either end from overuse. But it was my friend's old skateboard, and he was like, "Oh, sure, have this and learn to skate." So that was cool. It was whatever. Then I think I managed to get a blank deck from like the local skate shop. But then it was Christmas, and I was like, Mum, get me a skateboard deck. And she did, and I gave her like a few options of like ones I quite liked, and then she got me one, and it was a flip one. It was a Tom Penny flip skateboard. That was quite cool. It had like I think 3 or 4 heads on it. Let me Google see if I can see like would it have been 90s, 2000s Tom Penny flip deck. Not seeing it. I can't see it anywhere. Well, whatever. But it was like, I think it was like a light orange colour, the actual deck, and then it had like 2 or 3 cartoon heads, or 3 or 4 cartoon heads, possibly illustrations of Tom Penny's face. At the time, I didn't actually know who the fuck Tom Penny was, but now I know he's a really, really fucking good skater. And I like Tom Penny because he's really stuck to his like skating roots. He was known for, you know, big, huge baggy shirts, huge baggy jeans, big fat skate shoes, like the Osiris fucking enormous giant fucking skate shoes, and a beanie with his long hair coming out underneath it. And I think he still skates today, and if so, that's still the look he has. Like you see Tom Penny and you know fucking Tom Penny. And I really like that. I respect, you know, that he didn't change at all, which if he did want to, that's perfectly fine. Is you can change as you grow up. It's a perfectly valid thing to be doing. But I sort of like and respect the fact that he sort of found what he liked and stuck to it. Now, it's a really blurry image I'm looking at of these skate logos. Flip skateboard logo. I can't make out it is, yeah, it's like a cross. The dot of the eye is like one of those like old, I don't know, almost like a Nazi cross thing. I don't know, fucking whatever. Eyes like this. And then yeah, messed that up a little bit, but that's still part of the fun. That's how it went. You draw the shit on your exercise books, and if you mess up, you mess up. It's whatever. People can see what it is. They know what's up. They know you're a skateboarder because they see your book covered in skate logos, and they say, "Oh, do you skate?" And you say, "Shut up!" But only because you're not good at socializing. You have no idea what you're doing when it comes to talking to other people, so you get scared and go, "Are you?" Well, that was most of my interactions anyway. Just joking. No one ever spoke to me. And people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't say, "Hey, do you skate?" It's not like if people see you with like graffiti on your jeans, they say, "Oh, do you write?" And then they find out you're a writer, and then you talk and you go, "Yeah, I write this, and I write on the garages down the road sometimes." Which, you know, isn't really a real writer, is it? But flipping it, and then give it a border. Colour that in, maybe. These are taking a lot longer than I thought. I thought it'd be like a quick, like, I'd cover the entire book in skate logos in like 10 minutes. I guess that was foolish of me to think that would happen. We'll do some drawing inside the book soon. Don't worry. I'll get this done and then we'll do some other shit. This won't be the entire episode, I swear. Don't turn off. Please continue watching. Or don't. Go away if you don't like it. If you don't like it, fuck off, prick. See if I care, you son of a shit. Today, let's go on to the next page. What did we used to draw? We'd always draw in the margins, obviously. You draw little, like, skulls and shit. Really badly drawn skulls, because you didn't really know anatomy at the time. Zero! That was a good one. You draw the Zero logo. Zero. Something like that, isn't it? Can I find it? Is there a Zero skull anywhere? Yeah. Which is also, I think, Sid in Toy Story is wearing a Zero shirt. It doesn't have the word Zero on it, but the skull is basically identical to the Zero Skateboard's skull, which is, you know, something. A little tiny little nose, and then like that, and it says Zero. Zero Skateboards was good logo. Birdhouse is good. Still looking at them. But then, what would we draw? We draw other things. I used to draw a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I think that was before school. That was in primary school. I'd draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter characters and Mortal Kombat characters, which, you know, at the age of like 8 or 9, I really shouldn't have been drawing fucking Mortal Kombat characters. But we all played those video games, didn't we? We all grew up playing them. I did draw a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but not, yeah. What did I draw in secondary school? I would have been drawing like, yeah, skateboarding stuff. I used to draw my own skate parks a lot. You'd like make up your own skate parks. You draw like isometric view, kind of like half pipes and stuff, almost in a sort of like Tony Hawk's park creator kind of way. It's actually quite fun. And then you do like a fun box here. That would have like a ledge. And a rail going down this side. Which is actually really bad park design to have like a little half pipe here and then a fun box right here. Like you need, oh, I guess here, if you had half pipe here, then you could go down here and then up the fun box. It's just, there's too much danger of like coming up and over the fun box and then bashing into the side of the half pipe here. So this is really bad park design. But that's, you know, that's the sort of stuff we'd draw at school, because we weren't fucking engineers and industrial fucking architects and designers. We were just shitty little kids drawing funny little ramps and stuff for fun. If it wasn't accurate, it didn't really matter, did it? I'm drawing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle just because, you know, it's fun to draw. I don't want to say, oh, it's going to be amazing, but it's bound to look far better right now than it would have ever looked if I'd drawn it during my school days. Which is probably a good thing. It's probably good that I'm better at drawing now than I was at school. Trying to make a living as an artist in your 30s, and you draw just as well as you did when you were in your teen years. Although there are some artists that seem to get away with that kind of shit. I'll name no names, but you know, fuckers are out there. I almost said the N-word. I didn't almost say the N-word. The N-word was just in my head. When I said fuckers are out there, in my head it was N-words are out there. But that's just my street upbringing, yeah. It's, you know, you come from the streets, it's how you talk on the streets. It wasn't about whether you were black or white. It's just, you know, it's how you were raised. I didn't say that word a lot, you know, when I was younger. It was just certain things, like certain phrases, just sort of sound right in your head. If you say like fuckers are out there, it's like in your head. If you say N-words are out there, it's like you're not saying it to be like watch out, they're out there, but you're saying, you know, people be out here doing this kind of shit. Whatevs. Yeah, I'll stop talking about that now. That's not my place to really discuss at all. Oh God. Welcome to the Racist Podcast. I'm racist. I'm racist. That's the tune of Iron Man by Black Sabbath. See, I can't be racist. I like Black Sabbath. You know, just saying. Just saying. This is, I think this is sort of unintentionally Leonardo DiCaprio. Has anyone ever done that? Drawn like Leonardo DiCaprio with like a blue eye mask thing, like he's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, also called Leonardo. That would be quite funny, wouldn't it, if someone drew that or photoshopped that or something. Oh, what happened there? That was my as I went up like this, my sleeve caught the book and moved it, and so my line went all skew. Not that I can draw straight lines anyway. I'm actually sort of almost known for not being able to draw a straight line. My friend Sam is known for having the worst memory on the planet. Have I ever told you the story about the number 23? Of how Sam, my good friend, you know, big gay Sam, once at college, he was asking me if I'd seen the film, The Number 23, the Jim Carrey movie, drama, thriller, whatever, conspiracy theory stuff. It's a pretty good film. It's not the best ever, but it's pretty good. So yes, Sam was asking me if I'd seen it, and I was like, I can't remember if I had or hadn't. I think at the time I hadn't. I think after this incident, I decided to watch it because it must have been really good. He asked me if I'd seen the number 23, and I said no, I don't think I have. And mere minutes later, maybe not even 2 full minutes later, he asked me again. He goes, "Oh, by the way, have you seen number 23?" And I was like, "No, still haven't seen it." You literally asked me that a minute and a half ago. Still have not seen it. And that's just one particularly funny example of Sam's memory. It's known for being about as good as that. And that's also a running joke between Sam and myself. We will constantly, like every now and again, if we're hanging out, if we're lucky enough to get the chance to hang out these days, whatever we're doing, I'll stop and be like, "Oh shit, Sam." And he'll go, "What?" Like really earnestly, like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And I'll be like, "Have you seen the number 23?" And he'll be like, "Oh, fucking shut up." Fucking shut up. Speaking of the number 23, have you seen this book? Oh, I've only shown it a couple of times. It's The Last American, written by someone. Is it written by 2 people? Created by John Wagner, Alan Grant, and Mick McMahon. Mahon. 2 writers. Jesus. Yeah. Imagine that. Anyway, point is, this is Slaine. This was like 1990. And see, Mick McMahon, his artwork is like pretty cool. I would find some good examples of it, but apparently I can't. I can't find any particular examples. That's a pretty good one. Shapes and shading and shit. It's pretty good, pretty solid. The shapes here, man, the arm shapes, the gun, even the band, like the strap of the gun is really, really well drawn. It looks basic, but it's really fucking well drawn. Like it's not just a straight thing, and it's not just the same perspective. It twists as it goes, and it doubles back on itself, and it's clipped here. That's really fucking good. The creases and the trousers and everything. The shape of the body as a whole is really fucking good. And then there's a couple of drawings at the back which are really cool. There's some covers which is like, yeah, cool, whatever. But then there's these. These are really, really cool. This one especially, the date, keep an eye on that. That's a newer one which shows how his style evolved and developed. But yeah, so this is some back in the day McMahon artwork. Really, really love the inking. And the shape of the body and the fucking that's a really fucking good drawing. Which is very reminiscent of this, which was 86. First edition, June 1986. Slaine, book 1. I don't know if this is like the very first book of Slaine. If it is, that's pretty fucking cool. Picked this up, I was in London with my friend T-Bone, T-Dog, the Tomster, hanging out, checking out comic book stores. They had a whole bunch of old 2000 AD stuff, and this was amongst them. And I saw Slaine, I saw Mick McMahon, and you know I quite like Slaine anyway. I've got quite a few Slaine books, especially the newer ones. Simon Davis painted artwork is very, very cool. I've got some Bisley, Slaine the Horned God, you know, that sort of stuff. Lots of Fabry. I've got quite a bit of Slaine, actually. I like Slaine. Barbarians, Vikings, you know, yeah, I like that kind of shit. And I very quickly flipped through it, and I was like, oh shit, this looks really, really cool. Black and ink artwork, black and white ink artwork. It's really, 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 really cool for various reasons. I don't know if I'll really get into all of them, but I just wanted to show it off. I bought this because, 1, it looks cool and I wanted to look through it. And 2, because I wanted to show it off to you guys. I wanted to be like, hey, look at this, cool. Some artwork and stuff. It's all good. I mean, you can see. I love, the shapes he uses are really fun. They're like pretty anatomically accurate, but slightly exaggerated, like not over the top, but slightly exaggerated and stylized. And I like angles and shapes and lines he uses. Very, very cool. And then there's stuff like this and this. Really solid looking character designs. And this sort of stuff is all, you know, from the 80s. You couldn't Google like medieval fucking Gaelic Celtic armor and weapons and stuff, so this is, you had to look in books, encyclopedias, history books and stuff, have any kinds of like photo references and things for helmets and swords and whatever else. And it all looks very well researched. It doesn't look like it's made up. Some of it maybe, but largely it's a very, very believably drawn and built. Even down to like it would be so easy to just draw a really basic belt and a loincloth, but then it's, you know, the sigils on the belt and the loincloth is like quite intricately drawn, and it's folded on itself and goes under the belt and comes out again. Chains holding the scabbards with the swords and things. The fur on the boots is really cool. The solidity of him standing there, Ukko in the back. And that's what I like about it is, if I was doing something like this, I'd cut corners every which fucking way I possibly could. But it really doesn't feel like that's been done at all. It feels like everything's really well thought out and he's put in detail into. However, it says Mike McMahon here, and it says Mick McMahon here. Are they the same person? Or is it two different people? Did he change his name officially, or did he just say, I prefer to be called Mick as opposed to Mike? I don't know. These are questions I have, and I don't have answers to. Look, he's riding a mammoth. It's pretty fucking cool. Birds. And that's one thing as well about this book in particular. The layouts are good. No, some of the layouts are phenomenal. There'll be a few other examples, but for instance, this long thin panel is really cool. The mammoth walking along the plains or whatever. A couple of insert panels. The big mammoth here, and then a couple of other insert panels. Really, really nice page layout. Same here. Not same, but like same as in another nice layout. Sort of that, and then that. Sort of that, and then that. Nice little shots of the village, and like, again, probably well researched drawings of huts and houses and stuff. And what I really like about this book is, I assume he did it all with like pen nibs, like drawing that look like fountain pens, the pointy nib pens with the nib that goes pointy, like on the end of the pen with like a hand, and then a pointy nib pen. A few different sizes, but like there's very few actual solid blacks. Almost all of the black is like scribbled in with pen, so you can see there's like lines where it's been scribbled in. In some places it's more obvious, some places less so. But I love the fact that he hasn't just gone right, I'll get a brush and just fill in these large areas of black. It's all scratched in, and it really gives a feel and a texture, not just to the artwork in general, but to the book itself for being, Slaine, and it's medieval and it's rough and scratchy, and having the shading done in that manner really adds to that. I appreciate that a great deal. This is a really cool bit. I guess they're in like a drinking hall, which is quite a cool scene here. All the people in the drinking hall, food and drink going on, people's doing their people thing. Quite cool, a difficult thing to draw. Anything where there's like more than 2 or 3 people in a panel or even a page starts to get a bit like, ugh, this is a lot of work. And there is some shit coming up, believe me. There's a few pages, a few splash panels that are just like, whew, like it's tiring to look at them in terms of, the amount of drawing involved. This is a really cool bit in the book. They're in the drinking hall. Some like people come in to invade their space. Slaine picks up the table. At the same time, Slaine was moving, lifting the table, scattering food and drink. And then, this is a really, really cool part. This long, thin panel here where he's picked up the table. He's running forwards with it towards the attackers, and they're firing crossbow bolts into it. Some past him. It's obviously quite a small drawing, but like a really, really nicely done one with the floor and the momentum of his body running, carrying the table. The shape of the body is really good. All the little details, not intricate, but not too intricate, but like enough detail to give an impression of what's going on. And then this blown up version as he smacks into all these people. Again, the shape and momentum of his body, the feeling of the force of the table going into them with their like arms flailing outwards and stuff. And all the anatomy is brilliantly drawn. Like, even if it's not super duper realistic, it's believably drawn enough and looks characterful and solid and fleshy and good. The hands going this way and that, swords, weapons, heads, helmets, feet. That's really, really cool little bit of action. Then he gets his little dwarf friend Ukko to chuck him his axe, and that's a really nice so he's like, Ukko, brainbiter to me, and then the little 3 panels here of like Ukko picking up the axe, tossing it to him, and then his hands, like as he catches it, his hands aren't grasping it, they're like about to be grasping it. You can see the little shadow of the thumb and stuff. That's a really nice little detail of him being like, he's about to, and then fucking swinging. The hand coming up in front there is really, really nice. The shading, as I said, is really cool, like scratchy pen shading, but controlled. It's not just wild scratches. Very, very purposeful and thoughtful. And then this is one of those splash panels I mentioned where it's just fucking chaos with Slaine with his axe, cutting fuckers up. Bodies and bodies and bodies going everywhere. This big, like, cauldron of soup spilling everywhere. All these helmets and swords. That sword there is a really nice like divider of the page. Not a divider, but just like it's a cool angular sort of device or whatever. Like drawing something like that, just that looks cool, and you can look at it and go, oh, that's a really cool drawing. But then if you draw and you know about drawing, you look at this and you just think, Christ, like the amount of effort it would take to draw this and have it look as good as it looks. This arm's really nice with like the shadow under the hand. That's really, really cool. And then another one almost straight away. And that's, these, is it 6 pages? They do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's typical for 2000 AD, the British comic. They have like 3, 4 or 5 stories every issue weekly, and they run in 6-page episodes, and then they collect them up in books like this, which I think is a really good way of doing it, because 6 pages is like, it's got to be an interesting way to write a story, because you have to write it in 6-page increments. So every 6 pages has to have like a beginning and an end to it, but still allow for the story to carry on. And I think it's done really well here as an example. Whatever's going on is going on. From here, I guess. The attackers show up. There's a fight. He smacks the table into them and chops them up. And then on to the next bit. He's still fighting them at the start of the next 6 pages. And that's just, it's wild. Again, the arms and swords. Drawing this is going to be hard enough, but then it's drawing all these bodies. I have an issue with, like, I'll draw 2 bodies in the same space and one will just be bigger than it should compared to the other one. It won't be like closer to the camera, it'll just be bigger than it should be. So having it all look to scale can be difficult. But that's really, really cool. It would almost make a good colouring book, wouldn't it? And then some, fight scenes. I love this open panel here. There's a really good mixture of panel sizes as well. It's not just like 4 panels, like long stretchy panels, a few little ones here, huge splash panel where necessary. I don't know how much of that would be down to the writer and how much down to the artist, but it's a good mix of panel types and panel sizes. I love this open panel with the little fight going on, bolts being shot and swords going every which way. That's cool. These guys on their way to fuck shit up. And then Slaine fucking them up with his axe. This is pretty cool as well, these giant stones. The birds. You don't think about it when you look at a comic, but then if you sit down to draw it and you think, okay, I'll draw some birds flying across the thing, you suddenly realise you don't know what a fucking bird looks like, and you've got to Google birds in flight and then draw them from a few different angles, and you don't want to just repeat the same bird, like copy paste the same thing bigger and smaller in perspective. You've got to draw each one with the wings at different angles and different perspectives and stuff. That's a hell of a scene to draw. So they're in a boat, they're filling this boat up with provisions and animals and stuff, and then the boat, I guess, I've not read this is all what I assume from looking at it, through whatever weird power they have, the boat gets like pulled up through these stones, comes out the top of them, and is now flying through the sky, which is pretty fucking cool in itself. So you're given a brief, draw this comic. Okay, in this page we want to see the huge boat in more or less its entirety, with all of these people pulling animals and carts full of provisions along, stocking up supplies onto this boat. It's like, like drawing Noah's Ark with all of the animals and stuff. It's insane. And you can see bits here where like the face is just dots for eyes and like really, really basically drawn. That would be drawn about this big as a single page, about this size. But even then, trying to get in all those details, you have to draw them so tiny. And I love the angular device of like the ramp going up the boat and then coming around here, around the panels again, page layout and stuff. In the foreground here, all moving their way up there, and that's Slaine and Ukko, I think. Then they're on the boat, and then the boat goes up through the stones, and then it's flying in the air with the birds. That's a cool open panel as well. Almost silhouette ship there. That's a really nice shot. Like the boat in the air, and then what you see on the ground. Mushrooms and flowers, little squirrel here with the trees going up. That's really nice, and then panels inserted. Ukko feeling sick. Look out below. Like, I'd struggle to draw this shit. I'm sure I could do it. It would just take me a while to, like, figure it out in my head, let alone on the page. Fit all these people in and everything. And having the birds fly around the ship is really good, sort of, just to keep it in your mind that this is in the air, in amongst the flighting birds. Slaine goes down below the depths and sees a bunch of like his old friends, his old zombified friends. I've read little snippets of it here and there, but not the full thing. Zombified friends, warriors all caged up or something. This is a really cool like panel composition, layout, whatever. This sorcerer guy who's like in charge of the thing. His arm coming up here. That's really neat. This guy getting eaten alive by crows. That's pretty cool. And then I think something happens and the boat is going to be falling out of the sky. That's a cool panel. There's quite a few of those, like long, thin panels at the top. The boat's falling out of the sky, and he says the stone is weakening, like the weird magic stone they've got on board. We must sacrifice a bull, but then a bull gets loose and starts killing people, stomping on them, goring them. So Slaine has to then fucking take the bull by the horns. And that's the end of that 6-page thing, so, which is a really cool opening with the squirrel, and that's a cool opening page, and then a bunch of shit, a whole bunch of shit, some story revelations and cool panels and stuff. And it ends with Slaine fighting a bull. Like, you want to read the next bit. If you're reading this when it was originally published in a magazine as 6 pages, and that's all you get that week, with, you know, like a Judge Dredd story and a fucking whatever other Stronian dog is that one I've made up or something. Gunheads was one. Yeah, you can't wait till next week when you find out what the hell happens between Slaine and the bull. And that's a really cool, like, and this is 2 panels, but like one open space, but it's clearly the bull charging towards Slaine, the sorcerer being like, "Save me, Slaine," and Ukko the dwarf running the fuck away. And then Slaine grabs the bull's horns, and it's all like, "Grr!" And you can see by the sort of like body language of the bull, it is being pushed back. It's not charging forwards into Slaine. Slaine is pushing back against the bull, which is really, really well drawn. Love the inking, the scratchy inking, the anatomy and everything of the bull and Slaine. The shape of Slaine's really, really nice. The fucking... It's good shit, man. And then there's all the commotion on the boat. Bulls going here and there. People falling off masts and hanging off the side of the boat. Slaine wrestled one of the escaped creatures to the deck. The rest smashed through the gunwales, carrying passengers and crew with them. They just fucking leapt off the side of the boat to save themselves. Then he got it in like the stock thing, and then the sacrifice was made as he raises his axe. And then they fill jugs with blood and pour it over the magic weird stone. And then the boat is safely flying again. Some weird ritual to keep the boat in the air. It's a cool panel, a cool open panel with the sorcerer being all crazy and mad. Ukko here, and then Slaine's legs just in the shot there. That's a really cool thing. And then Ukko's legs in the shot with Slaine walking towards them. Is he's going to like attack the sorcerer or whatever, I guess. And then I think Vikings come in their flying ships. They show up to abscond the flying boat that Slaine's on. That's a crazy cool panel. Slaine attacking the Vikings. Do they board them? I guess, yeah, they will jump from ship to ship. That leg is really cool, really strong. Slaine's body twisting as he swings his axe. Their bodies fucking twisting and lurching out of the way. Really, really cool, like angles and stuff on their bodies. And like sharp elbows like I do. Sort of shadowed figures in the background. It's almost at the point where it's difficult to make out what's going on. But if you look at it for just a second, you realise you can see what's going on. I like these panels with like not too much detail, just a quick little action happening. It's really, really cool. A bird bringing a fish to its little babies with all this shit going on in the background. A big mountain or something. Ah! This is another one of those panels that's just like... I think, the zombie warriors break free or something, and there's Vikings and the zombies, and then the other guys all having a fucking fight. So this panel, there's so much. There's the Viking boat here with them all jumping aboard. Like the angle on this guy's body, the strength in that pose with his leg up on the side of the boat. This guy's arms raised. They're all like leaping across with swords and spears. Some of them falling off, which is pretty funny. And there's like, you know, like a bucket on a not on a string, on a rope, and like a winch and stuff, and masts and ropes, sails, axes and shields, action. There's birds flying in and out of the scene. Like, if you're drawing that, if you drew that, you'd want like 2 weeks off. You'd finish that page and be like, I'm done drawing for now. Like, I am finished drawing. I need a holiday. I need a vacation. I need to go away for a month at least after drawing this one single page, because fucking, again, it's got to be like this big at least. There's so much going on, and it's really, really well done, which is not a hot take, but I don't know, it's just good. It's just some good comics, innit? And I used to hate black and white comics. I used to think, well, I'm not even going to look at a comic if it's black and white. But then you sort of grow up, you mature, you learn more about creating comics, and you realise just the art of just drawing a comic, sort of how difficult it can be and how impressive it can be when it's done well. And really nothing shows that better than a comic like this that is basically just drawings. There's no fucking computer colouring getting in the way, no airbrush shit. It's all just drawings on each page. And that's pretty fantastic, I think. That's a really cool pose, dead bodies and stuff. Action and fighting and yeah. There's not much more to say. It's just really good. That's really cool. I don't know, a beam of light, something happening, boats exploding and burning people. Good drawings. I love this. The like chainmail or whatever this guy's wearing actually curves like that over his shoulder. Like those are front facing, and then those are like facing like that, and it actually curves, and it's really, really well drawn. And it'd be really easy to fuck that up and not do it like that. But oh, he's got like a Mjolnir necklace. That's pretty cool. And that's a really good composition as well. The explosion at the top in the background, and then that's all like in the background. The insert panel there. This guy with his arm going back, the sword, and then in this panel there's 4 faces, and they're all either side of the sword, but like really, really well laid out. That's really, really good. That's really good. That's really good. And that's really good. All the animals. Oh yeah, this bit. I forgot about this bit. They're in a forest. This is really cool. And it's like eerily quiet, and all the animals like in the background. This bear's hiding behind this little tree. That's pretty funny. Really, really nicely drawn, dense forest. Forests can be really fucking difficult to draw. I've done some bad drawings of forests. This one like massive gnarled tree, and then a bunch of lesser trees, I guess. A really, really good forest scene. Trees and twigs and stuff, and then a fucking boar. And the sorcerer again, Slaine, save me! Just useless, worthless fucking guy. Slaine's there, hurls his axe, catches the boar in the side. Oh, there's quite a funny bit here actually, where Ukko's on his back. I'm tired, Slaine. Can I ride on your back? No. And then he hops up onto his back and just sits on his shoulder. Ah, that's better. And Slaine's just like, whatever. He's not like, get off of me, you stupid little dwarf. Slaine, he's just like, sure. And I'm sure this no was actually him saying, no, you can't. But if you're going to, you're going to. I don't care. I love that. It really shows the relationship between the two. It's really almost a sweet moment between Slaine and his little pal. So he hurls his axe into the side of the boar, and then the boar charges at him, and he clouts it over the head with a rock, killing it, I guess. And then all the animals come back. See, all the animals were hiding because of this fucking like boar, and now the boar's dead. All the animals are coming back, and he's drawn all the animals. And he's drawn all these fucking animals. These fucking splash panels, man. Trees and shit in the forest, and then like animals with tails. I don't even know what these animals are supposed to be. Some of them cats and wild creatures, and llamas and bears and rabbits and things. A turtle, rabbit and rat, and in amongst the undergrowth and the branches and stuff, flowers, and it's crazy drawings. That's cool. Like the circle of animals around them. There was one particular. I really like this Ukko here. The shape of his body, long legs with his body leaning forward. Just the shape and the texture and the trousers and clothing and stuff. I like it, and I only say that because I saw that, and it made me think of that. It's really nice. Like, it's basic. It's just a guy standing, but it's a cool pose. I like it how it fits into the panel with the panel border around the top edge, but not on the bottom. Leaves that open. Inserted panels, and then really nice layout. I think all the animals are eating the. Oh, they're eating this guy, whoever he is. I don't know. And then this guy gets eaten by worms, I think. The sorcerer. The sorcerer that was scared of everything the whole time. I think he turns on Slaine and then gets eaten by worms. Yay! And then Slaine and Ukko are on their own, left to travel, and that's the end. And I like that Slaine's look has changed here and there over the years, but Ukko has more or less kept almost those exact features throughout, and I appreciate that. That each artist has their own take on Slaine, but then they keep Ukko looking pretty much exactly as Ukko looks. That's pretty cool. Well, I spent fucking forever talking about a goddamn Slaine book. I don't know how much time I've really left myself to draw, and that's the whole point of this goddamn thing, isn't it? It's drawing. Hang and draw. It's not hang and natter like some fucking old ladies. Oh, I'd love to fuck an old lady. Would I? I don't know. Could be fun. But let's shut up and draw some shit, yeah? It is Leonardo the Turtle. I had something. It's happened a few times. I've mentioned it a few times at least. In particular, this time. So I think it was the collection of my Butt-Vember drawings, like the big image with all 30 butts in one picture, was shared on a page that I think it was like a girly stuff art page that has like nice drawings of girls and like vases and candles and shit, like almost like a Pinterest page on Instagram. One of those sorts of pages. The page itself, I checked it out very, very briefly. Like hundreds of thousands of followers has that page, and they're all, like white Pinterest women. Those, the sort. White women's Instagram, the Bo Burnham song, that whole thing. Like that. That's like what their followers are. They shared my Butt-Vember collection drawing, which is cool. It sort of fits into their girly, swirly, fucking somewhat feminist vibe, whatever. Can't hate them for that. But then I got like quite a lot of new followers after that, all from that being shared on that page. But of course, all of those followers are those sorts of white Pinterest women, and I just think it's only a matter of time, before they all unfollow one by one. When they see other stuff I post, they see the butts, and maybe they go onto my page and they go, "Oh, cool, drawings of bums, how nice and quaint and fucking whatever." And then eventually I'll post some like violence against women, girls being killed, murdered, have their heads torn off with lipstick put on them, being scalped for fun. And they'll be like, "Oh, this is not why I followed this art page. This is terrible," and they'll all unfollow, which I'm perfectly happy with. My art isn't made for those sorts of people. If they're into it, cool. If anyone's into what I do, fine. That's perfectly whatever. But they are not my demographic. They're not my target audience. So if they're not into it, it's absolutely unsurprising and probably best that they leave early rather than find out later what it is I actually do. So that was funny. I had other notes of things I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, that's another one. Knowing all my friends by their Instagram names. It's pretty funny when if I'm sending something to someone, if I say, hey, I'll send you a book or whatever, and they're like, no, let me pay for it, and I say, fuck, shut up, I'm just going to send it to you, tell me your address, and they give me their address, but then I have to like ask an awkward question, which is, what's your name? Because I like 99% of my friends are on Instagram. That's most, not just quite a lot, but most people I know are from Instagram, which is just sort of how it's been. That's how it goes. It's how it's been over the last bunch of years. But I know them all by their Instagram names. When I message them, I'm not messaging the person. I'm messaging their Instagram name, the Pigeon or whatever, or Ass Blast Master 8000 or fucking whatever. Dodecahedron Captain Ass Poo Ballbag. That's how I know people. I know people by those names. I don't know people by their given names. Sometimes people will use their given name as their Instagram name or a version of it, and that's cool. Or whatever. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is. But then sometimes, you know, I'll be trying to send something to someone in the post, and I have to message them to be like, well, I will happily put your Instagram name on the envelope, but I don't know if you necessarily want that. So I have to then, sort of almost embarrassingly ask, like, oh, by the way, what's your fucking name? Which is quite funny. Well, I say it's quite funny. It's about as funny as sort of just said it is. It's not hilarious. It just, it's kind of funny. Hey, look, it's Leonardo. I may not show it, but I feel like currently I'm being influenced by the Slaine book I've just looked at in terms of me inking this. And I may be trying to make it look like that in a roundabout kind of way. Maybe not hugely directly, but on some level in my head, it's trying to look like that fucking Slaine book. Which is just, the inking's so good, the drawings are really cool. And I think looking through that book, actually, I got that, as I say, I was in London when I got that, and then on the train home, I must have looked through that thing like 3 or 4 times, just again and again and again. Loving it. And I think it's sort of inspiring me to really get a move on with my Death Fist comic, because Death Fist is going to be a black and white comic, at least to start with. And yeah, so seeing the inking style in that Slaine book has really got me like, oh, yeah, I could imitate this as best as I can rather than do anything myself. For my I was going to say Death Grips comic then. Like the music group. Turtles have shells. Turtle shells. Turtles have turtle shells. Turtle shelves. Shelves. That's silly. Hey, Leonardo. I think this is quite a cool drawing. I'm pretty happy with it. A quick little notebook ballpoint sketcheroo, a little doodle, little doodad, doodah day, gay, penis. The turtle anatomy is a whole fucking thing. I might have to do like some anatomical diagrams of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to try to fully figure out like what goes where. The hands, the fucking hands. Every time I draw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think I've got the hands figured out. Every time I do it, I fuck them up. because it's not the hands, it's the fingers. Because in my head, all you do is you take the human hand, which looks exactly like this, how I'm drawing it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to count. Take the human hand, and then you just basically like tape these fingers together and these fingers together, which gives you that. Tape them together. And that's basically the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hands. But then, so that's how it should be. So it should be like thumb, quite a wide thumb, and then a finger here and a finger there. And it should work out just fine for like the finger width and stuff. But almost every time I do it, I get them either too thin or I draw them too fat, and they look like, I think they look a bit too bulbous right here. Personally, I think that's how they look. A little bit too big and fat. Maybe they don't, I don't know, but I feel like personally I just fuck them up every time. So that's where I need to do some sort of anatomical, like proper anatomical study of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to really get to grips with death, and then call it Death Grips and be like, hey, I've finally figured it out. Got into grips with death. Hence the Death Grips. Hey, what about you? In true tradition of me claiming I have a bunch of things I'm planning on doing throughout the next year, and then doing approximately 0 of them, or a very, very minimal amount, not as high a percent of things getting done as I necessarily want, which is not necessarily through my own fault. It's sort of, these things happen. Some things are out of my power. Some things are, affected by mental health and all that happy horse shite. I think the idea of having 3 books done throughout the year, each one collecting 4 months of work, to eventually show all the work I've done this year collected in 3 volumes, is a really cool idea, and I would like to do it at some point, perhaps. However, the last couple of years it just hasn't worked out that way, for various reasons. Especially this year, as I've said time and again, has not been grand in terms of mental health, mental well-being and such. So getting things done in general has been a bit of a mission. So anything I do, because of that, is sort of a victory in itself, even if it's something small. If I manage to get anything done, then it's good. But with all of that said, I have some plans of things I'd like to get out in the coming year. And this is a notebook. This is a school, notey notebook. So what better place to write some notes? Today's date. What's the date? It's this is. I'm recording this quite a bit earlier than I normally do. It's the 20th, the 12th, because we're in England, so we write the date properly. 22nd. Plans for books in the coming year. Get it? Coming. Right, so the basic plans for books I have that I could do relatively easily is this. I would like to put out a paintings book number 2. Because I did a paint book of paintings. I looked through it again recently and I was like, some of this is okay. Some of them look old and the technique is a little bit off, questionable. So I'd like to do a second book of paintings, and I've got a folder on my computer currently full of basically more or less every painting I've done from the time my first paintings book was published to today. So all of those paintings, squash them into another book. I think I could potentially get 150 to 200 pages comfortably. And I'm thinking of doing that possibly A5. So, which is a bit weird because like you won't necessarily be able to, it'll be this size basically, which for some paintings you want to see them bigger maybe, but I don't really paint that big. So, I quite like the idea of a smaller art book. And that will go neatly with, you know, my latest black and white art book. So I'd like to do that. I'd also like to do ballpoint book number 3. So I've done ballpoint was my first one, then ballpoints was my second one, and I'm thinking of calling this one ball 3, like ball cubed. I don't know. Maybe that's a working title. Question mark on that one. That's a working title. But that would be the same dimensions, average US comic book size, graphic novel sized ballpoint drawings book of, like I say, of every a lot of ballpoint drawings, all colour, because I've just done the black and white one. So colour ballpoint drawings that I've made since the last ballpoints book. I think I can get a decent sized third volume of ballpoint drawings. Maybe a couple of nudes in there. Definitely a load of Vember drawings. Some funny stuff. Some less funny stuff. Just drawings, ballpoint drawings. Again, I've got a large collection of ballpoint drawings I can squeeze into a book, so it seems only appropriate that I do that. Maybe later down the line, possibly towards the end of the year, if I'm able, I do have plans for a big grand sketchbook collection book, wherein, you know, I've got a stack of sketchbooks like fucking this. Scan in every page of my sketchbook, and the entire book, art book, will be page after page of raw sketchbook page. Like, I'm not selecting bits and cutting them out and stuff, just sketchbook pages. So loads of really, really rough stuff. Some will be finished drawings, because I do a lot of finished drawings in my book. Some will even have paintings in. And then I think for some of them I may even slip in like one page of a sketchbook with like some rough ideas, and then the next page, not from the sketchbook, but just like a finished painting that was based on those drawings. Every now and again, not all throughout the book, but just every now and again, slip a few of those in. And I think I may be able to get like the book to be like this thick. So I might have to do like either pre-orders or maybe even a Kickstarter for that. Because that could take quite a bit of money to actually produce, to be full colour, and to be like, I'm thinking 200 to 300 pages at least, maybe even more than that, because I want it to be a chunky fucking tome. You just flip through and it's sketchbook page after sketchbook page after sketchbook page. It won't be every page of my sketchbooks. I will select and choose, and they probably won't be in any real order. I'll just mix them all up, and it'll just be just a book full of fucking sketchbook pages. I think that could be a really, really nice, cool art book. Gun Viking, issue 6. I was planning it out in my head the other day. Certain pages, certain panels. I think it will be really, really good. Shouldn't take me quite as long to do as the previous issue, because it's going to have very little painting involved. So there's a sneak peek for you. Don't know how possible it is I'll get that done. I'm going to try to. I really, really, really would like to get Death Fist, just a one-shot Death Fist comic. I'm thinking maybe even this kind of length. What is this, 50, 60 pages? About 60 pages. If I can get a Death Fist book 60 pages long, I think that would be really, really cool. And then release it as like even if it's like 40 to 50 pages, like a smaller edition book, like a one shot, and I've got such a pretty clear vision of what I want, and I want it to be really good, and I want to be able to use it as maybe a portfolio piece and or to get published, because it will have a bunch of stuff involved in the comic itself. It will have some true to life stuff. It will get a bit meta, a little bit of creation, like comics creation within it. That could be a really, really good one that I want to do. We'll see how that goes. Also on the docket for plans is Nude's book test print. I can't spell. Do a test printing of a book of my nudes, which has been something I want to do for so long. I've said before, I want to get it done by a professional publisher because I have such a clear vision of how I want it. I want it to be such a specific looking hardback book with a really nice specific kind of cover. But I figure I might try to produce a very limited run of like test prints of that, much smaller in size and scope and scale, that I can send out to publishers and or whatever to try to get something going with that. So I think that's about it for like stuff I have in mind that I could very well produce, and that's what six things in a year. I got 4 things done this year, including just printing Gun Viking issue 4, which wasn't really much to do, but that's like collect a bunch of paintings into a book, easy. Collect a bunch of ballpoint drawings into a book, easy. Scan every sketchbook page and collect those into a book, relatively easy, definitely possible. Gun Viking 6, doable. Death Fist, doable. Black and white comic again, so maybe won't take as long as other comics. Nudes book test print, that's like, it would be cool if I could get that done, but we'll see. That may be like a very much in the future thing to worry about. Also portfolio stuff in general. I'd like to build a really decent portfolio that I'm really happy with to send out to try and get paid work outside of Instagram, because that would be kind of handy. But that's sort of a plan, you know. Plans. So it's getting towards the end of the year. I'm hoping to do better. Not better necessarily, but in terms of self and my inner turmoil and everything, I'm hoping to more comfortably and confidently produce work that I'm really happy with in the coming year. Hopefully this will be some of that. Hopefully this will be some of that. I think this could be good, if nothing else, just as a book to sell, to keep me going, to make some money. This could maybe be the same as that. This is something I think could be a bit of a, not something to sell like a big money maker, but just a really cool book to have. And if I sell a bunch, cool. And then that, you know, we'll see. Anyway, shut up and pay attention and stop chewing gum, you little cunts. The bell's for me, not for you. Hey, Ewan, stop drawing. You'll never get anywhere in life with all your stupid doodles, Ewan. Pay attention. Don't talk back to me. Do your work, you fuck. You fucking little fuck.